And welcome to Kayfabe is Not Dead. I am your host tonight, Dr. Dapper. Today, it's that time of year. It's Hell in a Cell. So, just a recap of how we're doing on these podcast predictions. I am your current and two-time podcast predictions champion. Yep. It's just glorious. But, so pretty much what we're going to do today is the last episode, we made a rule. Well, I made a rule. Once the predictions are in, on paper or on video, that's it. There's no more doing what host CJ wanted to do and change his picks. So, they weren't able to come together, come up with a good time to meet to do this video. So we decided, like kayfabe fashion, wait to the last minute. I got our predictions, mine, CJ's, and Jess's, and we also have the card. So we're going to kind of go through everything, talk about it. I'll tell you my predictions, their predictions, and we'll go from there. So let's see what we got for us. Right off the bat, we're going to go through the card. We got Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Hype Brothers, or Hype Bros. Then we got Rusev versus Orton, Bobby Roode, the glorious one, versus Dolph Ziggler. For the U.S. Championship, we got AJ Styles defending it against Baron Corbin. Natalya, the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, defending her title against Charlotte. The New Day, the WWE SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions versus the Usos, which I believe is going to be in a Hell in a Cell. We got the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, or I think it's just called WWE Champion now, Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which we might as well just say Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers and the Great Khali and any other Indian wrestler we have versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And then probably to close the show, even though it probably, ideally it would be the WWE Championship always closing the main event, but who knows nowadays. We're going to have Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens in a Hell in the Cell. So, starting at the top, Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin versus the Hype Bros. Now, I am a huge fan of the Hype Bros. Just going to throw that out there. I love their charisma. I love the dynamic of the team. Just everything about it. It screams tag team glory. But for some reason, it's just not happening. So, my pick for this match, especially because now it looks like Zack Ryder's kind of going a little heelish against Mojo Rawley's babyface. Usually when you got a heel babyface combo for a tag team, doesn't always work. It worked as Cesaro and Sheamus, but then as we've seen, Cesaro has turned heel. And sometimes Sheamus goes babyface. It depends on how the fans are feeling. But overall, the Hype Bros seem like they're kind of splitting. Maybe doing their own thing. Maybe having a feud. We'll find out tonight on the pay-per-view. And we'll find out tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Well, Tuesday on SmackDown. But I'm going to go with Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin for the sole fact that we brought Shelton Benjamin back to be Chad Gable's tag team partner. They've been dominating their way up through the ranks. You can't be strapping a rocket to these guys, and no offense having them lose to the Hype Bros. So I'm going Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. With CJ, he will also be going Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, probably for the same reason. And then we got Jess. In Jess fashion, he's going the Hype Bros. I think it would be amazing if the Hype Bros win, but it's not in the WWE cards. But Jess is going Hype Bros. Me and CJ are going Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin. Next, we got Rusev, the handsome Rusev, who's now back to the Bulgarian Rusev, versus the Viper, Randy Orton. Now, we've had a couple matches so far with Randy Orton and Rusev. Mainly it always ends in Randy Orton in about 30 seconds doing an RKO for the pin. So, we had Rusev Day, where Randy Orton interfered. I believe last week, Rusev interfered while Randy Orton was taking on Aiden English. Now, with that being said, they haven't really built this story up too much. I don't really know where they're going with it. But the crowd wanted Rusev back. Rusev is back. I mean, you can't just crush him over and over and over again with the RKO. I'm hoping, and I mean, the podcast prediction championship's on the line. I'm hoping Rusev pulls one out. I mean, he's kind of being pushed, maybe. No one really knows because he hasn't really been doing too much. But I'm thinking Rusev is going to go over Randy Orton. Randy Orton's the veteran. He's got to put over some of the newer guys, even though Rusev's really not that new anymore. But he's got to put someone over. I'm going Rusev. CJ is going Randy Orton, which is a shocker if you've been watching the podcast. CJ hates Randy Orton. He hates the RKO out of nowhere. He just hates what Randy Orton stands for. But he's going Randy Orton. It's probably the safe pick. But hey, as the podcast prediction champion, gotta swing for the fences. You miss 100% of the time, you don't swing. And Jess is also going Randy Orton. So we got 1 for Rusev and 2 for Randy Orton. The next match on the card, this match now is probably the match of the night that I'm rooting for. I'm hoping it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be glorious. Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, I was a fan of Bobby Roode's in TNA. I'm a bigger fan of Bobby Roode's ever since he was in NXT and now into the WWE. I love his entrance. I love his charisma. I love Dolph Ziggler. But Bobby Roode's my guy. I gotta go Bobby Roode on this one. All the way. CJ is also going Bobby Roode. And Jess is going Bobby Roode. So, pretty much a little bit of the backstory. Dolph Ziggler's been coming out for a while now, impersonating some of the intros of classic wrestlers like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, to even some of the newer ones like Naomi with the glow, and John Cena, which really isn't new, he's more of like a 15, 20-year veteran. But that's besides the point. He's going through the lineup. He has not done Bobby Roode's. Bobby Roode comes out to the Glorious One entrance, and I mean it's perfect. You got Dolph Ziggler saying, "I am a wrestler. I put in my time in the ring. You guys are all worried about just introductions and intros and gimmicks and pyro, even though we don't do pyro anymore, just everything." Bobby Roode comes out in the most glorious entrance of them all, next to Ric Flair's. And I mean, Dolph Ziggler's not wrong. I mean, some of the stuff he's been doing, even though in the beginning it was kind of like, I don't understand what you're doing with this, where you're going with it. Now it makes perfect sense. You're taking Dolph Ziggler, making fun of all these gimmicks, all these intros, to have him go one-on-one with Bobby Roode in the glorious intro. But it's going to be a good match. They're both great workers. They both know what they're doing. They're hard workers. This isn't their first time in the mat. So, I mean, it's got to be Bobby Roode. All three of us agree. Now, the next match. for the U.S. title. AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin. So, we've been doing this for a while now, and pretty much AJ Styles has always come out on top. Why we keep pushing this, I have no idea. But pretty much we have AJ Styles go against Baron Corbin, pretty much beat him, and then after that, he went over Ty Dillinger, but then Baron Corbin started fighting Ty Dillinger, and AJ Styles come out to just watch, but we all know what that means. That means Baron Corbin's going to do something to aggravate AJ Styles, making AJ Styles come after him. So now we're having another match for the title, Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles. With that being said, I know Baron Corbin's their guy right now. He's their new guy. They're trying to push him. Pretty much they're pushing him just as hard as they did Roman Reigns. Here's the thing. Roman Reigns is a good wrestler. Despite what everyone says and what we've said on the podcast, he's a good worker. Not great, but he's good, and he's getting better. Baron Corbin is not there yet. I do not think giving him a title is going to get him there. So when it comes to my pick, I'm sticking true to AJ Styles. He's a great worker. He's probably, next to Kenny Omega, the best wrestler of this time right now, of any promotion. But I mean, it's to have him lose to Baron Corbin, whereas when he's beaten John Cena, he's beaten Kevin Owens, and you're going to have him lose to Baron Corbin after he's beaten Baron Corbin numerous times. Doesn't make sense. But we all know what WWE does, and they don't always make sense. But I'm going AJ Styles. CJ is also going AJ Styles, but he's a huge AJ Styles mark. But he's going AJ. And Jess is also going AJ. So, I mean, pretty much the card between the three of us haven't really changed too much. We have a couple outliers, but pretty much we're all on the same page. Next, we have the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, Natalya, my girl, versus Charlotte. Now, like I said on numerous podcasts and numerous videos, Natalya has a horrible record against Charlotte as a babyface. Charlotte is now the babyface. Natalya's the heel. The first match they've had together, Natalya destroyed her. Head in the bottom turnbuckle, rolled her up for the pin. I believe it was a roll up for the pin, or it was a sharpshooter. I'll have to go back and look on that one. But as a heel, she does not fall for the naiveness of a babyface of, oh my god, someone's around the apron, what do I do? Oh, roll up. She doesn't fall for that. I hate that. Any wrestler babyface that does that, come on. Like, I know they say kayfabe's dead, but come on. Make it somewhat believable on those. No one's getting schoolboy rolled up when their back is turned, but going for the 3 count, kicking off on 3. Come on. So, my girl Natalya versus Charlotte. I gotta go for my girl Natalya. They've been going back and forth on this feud ever since Charlotte was in NXT. I think this is their way of trying to bring Ric Flair back to the picture. Ever since his hospitalization, he's pulled through, which is great. I mean, this world without a woo would be horrible. I mean, that woo was horrible, but he goes woo. You can't be gone with that. Just like his shirt says, you can't kill him. So, I think even though they're trying to pull that through, I still have to go with my girl Natalya retaining the title. CJ is going Charlotte, but he hates Natalya. Not hates Natalya, but he just doesn't see her purpose right now. More of just a veteran. She's had her title. Let it go now. You've had your chance. Jess surprisingly is going Natalya as well, but Jess is a crazy cat lady, so it makes perfect sense. Now let's see what we got next. we have the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The New Day, the longest reigning tag team champions, just passing Demolition. But we got The New Day versus the Usos. Now, I've gone on record saying I hated how when they had John Cena and Randy Orton, they went back and forth, over and over again, which is the only reason why Randy Orton is your 13-time champion and John Cena is the 16-time champion. But, with that being said, the tag team division has definitely gotten so much better in the past year, especially since WrestleMania. So, with that being said, the best tag teams I've seen lately are the New Day and the revamped heel Thug Usos. I could watch them wrestle every time. And every time I am not bored. I'm excited for the match and I can't wait to watch what happens. I know we have our New Day champions, but I feel that if the New Day retain this title, then the feud is over. And who are they going to fight? The Revival's not there yet, because one of them's still injured. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, they're not there yet, because they're the babyface team. You can't have a babyface versus babyface. You got to have a protagonist. And so, I mean, right now, until the Revival come back, until the Hype Bros turn heel, if they do, or Ascension gets better and stop throwing jobs, and they got to bring back the Fashion Files. They got to get their momentum going back, but they're still a babyface. So once again, who are you going to have? It's got to be the Usos. You got the Uso Penitentiary. I think this is in a Hell in a Cell. So, I mean, you got the Usos Penitentiary in a Hell in a Cell versus the New Day. And there's only going to be two. And if it is in a cell, the third person can't interfere, but they're baby faces, they're not going to interfere. But the heels rule the cell, in theory. So I got to go Usos. It's going to keep the feud alive. It's going to keep this pay-per-view entertaining. I got to go Usos. With that being said, CJ is going New Day. Jess is going Usos. But Jess likes the Usos too. So, I mean, overall, it's going to be a great match. I'm thinking besides Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, this will be match of the night as well. Now, we got the WWE Champion, Jinder Mahal, and the Singh brothers, and Great Khali if he shows up, versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Not the artist. I refuse to call him the artist. He is the king of strong style, as CJ would say. But Shinsuke versus Jinder. We all know how I feel about Jinder. Now, every time I've gone with my heart of hearts, WWE has just crushed it. Stomped on it and blew it into the wind. Jinder cannot win a match on his own. He's proven that time and time again, because the one time after the whole Randy Orton feud, Jinder lost one-on-one. So, we know how this is going to end. Pretty much the only thing that kind of throws a wrench into it is the rumors that Jinder Mahal said some racial comments about Shinsuke, about his accent, the way he looks, and everything else. And there was rumors that WWE and Jinder Mahal had to come out with an apology. He kind of came out with an apology on SmackDown, but in true heel fashion, the apology was a kind of backhanded insults. And so, I mean, that is actually the one time that I'm going to give Jinder Mahal credit for being a heel. You cannot have your heel apologize for hurting someone's feelings. He's a heel. So what if he makes fun of his accent? He has an accent. It's understood. So what if he makes fun of his haircut? He shaved half his head and the other half's a perm. Of course it's going to get made fun of. We're a little too sensitive. This is wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. Just sit back and enjoy the story. But that is the only thing that I could think of that might cause Jinder to lose. But I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going Jinder Mahal. We're not doing any tiebreakers or anything, but usually we do, and if we do, it's because of interference. And of course, I think it'll be because the Singh brothers will interfere. Now, why they have never had the Singh brothers interfere to cause a disqualification, I don't understand why they won't do it. Jinder has always been the champion. If the champion gets disqualified, then you still win the title. You might lose the match, but who cares? The title's what's more important. So, I think the Singh brothers are going to have their hands full with Shinsuke, and Jinder Mahal is going to steal the victory like he always does, and retain the title. It's sad that they're going to try and bury Shinsuke Nakamura because of this, but I feel like the King of Strong Style has not really been shown to his true potential. And so until that happens, he's just not ready yet to be the WWE champion. CJ is going Shinsuke. It's a ballsy move. I really hope he's right. I do. But I feel until they put him in a cell or some type of cage device to make it so that the Singh brothers and the Great Khali cannot interfere, Shinsuke will never lose the belt. But CJ's going Shinsuke. Jinder will never lose the belt, but CJ's going Shinsuke. And of course Jess, who kisses the feet that the boots that Jinder wears, and just follows him like a puppy. Jess is going Jinder. I'm gonna have to go Jinder. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But I'm going Jinder. CJ's going Shinsuke. Now, the match that is pretty much selling this pay-per-view, the one that they've actually promoted more than any other match, Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon in a Hell in a Cell. So, with that being said, there's no way in hell Shane McMahon is going to win this, because you can't have your general manager, your owner of SmackDown, beat your talent. Austin never really got beat by Vince. You can't. You just can't. Because, if your part-timing boss beats you, what does that make you? What does that make everyone you've beaten? See what the dilemma is? It's a great match. I think it's going to be amazing. We're going to see the high spots of Shane McMahon. I just hope to God he doesn't jump off the cell. If he does, it's going to be awesome. But it's just like the Big Show being suplexed off the top rope, making the ring explode. It was awesome when we saw Brock do it the first time. It was okay the time we saw, I believe, Mark Henry do it. It was the second time we saw Brock Lesnar do it. And it was boring as hell the time we saw Braun Strowman do it. Mick Foley jumping off the top of the cage. Not jumping, being pushed. Awesome. Amazing. Highlight for the rest of WWE history. Shane McMahon doing it. Pretty cool. Almost telegraphed that The Undertaker wasn't going to take it. But it was pretty amazing. Not as good as Mick Foley's, but close. If he does it again, you're killing it. He should not do it. That's all I'm going to say. But Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. Kevin's got to win. He has to. He's a heel. He's beat up the family. He's got to do it. That's all I can say, people. Kevin Owens has to win. CJ is also going Kevin Owens. Now here's the wrench. Jess went Kevin Owens and then pulled it back for a Shane McMahon victory. So overall, we're kind of close, a little bit out there. But just to recap, the card, we have Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin versus the Hype Bros, where I am going Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. CJ is also going Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin. Jess is going the Hype Bros. We then have Rusev versus Randy Orton. I am going the Bulgarian Brute Rusev. CJ is going Randy Orton, and so is Jess. Next, we have the glorious one, Bobby Roode, versus Dolph Ziggler. I am going Bobby Roode. CJ is going Bobby Roode. And Jess is going Bobby Roode. Now we have the WWE Women's SmackDown Live Championship. Natalya versus Charlotte. I am going Natalya. Jess is going Natalya. CJ is going Charlotte. Then we have the New Day, the WWE SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions versus the Usos. And I believe a Hell in the Cell. Jess is going New Day. CJ is going New Day. Jess and I are going the Usos. Then we have the WWE Champion, Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Myself and Jess are going Jinder Mahal. CJ is going Shinsuke. We then have AJ Styles, the U.S. Champion, versus Baron Corbin. We all are going AJ. And then finally we have Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens in a Hell in the Cell, where CJ and I are going Kevin Owens and Jess is going Shane McMahon. So now that I kind of go back through and look at it, we are all kind of different. It's any man's game right now. The only thing that worries me is I suck at these SmackDown pay-per-view predictions. They never go the way they should. They never go the way I want. But I'm going to break that record because I am your two-time podcast prediction champion. And if I win this, I will also be your longest reigning podcast prediction champion, shattering Jess's record. So, with that being said, tonight is the night. Hell in the Cell starting in probably about 2 hours. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the pay-per-view. Soon after the pay-per-view, probably the next day or so, we're going to get everyone together. Get the champion, whether it's going to be myself retaining, Jess coming up as the two-time champ, or CJ coming as the two-time champ. But whoever the new champ is, we will get together. We will discuss the pay-per-view. We will discuss our predictions, why we chose what we chose, because, like I said, right now I'm the only one on here. We'll discuss why they chose what they chose. You already know why I chose what I chose. And we will find out who won, what the results are, what we thought of the pay-per-view. So, with that, my friends, my fellow Kayfabers, it's time to go watch Hell in the Cell. I'm gonna get off right now, upload this video. But let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any suggestions. Like CJ said in our previous podcast, Raw and SmackDown are kind of getting a little dull, a little lame. I personally want to do some movie reviews. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you like. Comment down below. Follow us on YouTube, the Kayfabe Network. Follow us on Podcast One on KayfabeIsNotDead. You can find us on Facebook at KayfabeIsNotDead, Twitter. I mean, we're all over. Just find us. But let us know what you think. And this is your two-time champion, the podcast predictions champion, signing out.